Hello everybody, it's Foxy speaking, and welcome to another episode of Foxy's Fun Inspirational Chats. And today I will be your host. And in this episode, this is the continuation learning steam railway history with Foxy. And this is the continuation of the very story itself. After the previous one we did, it was on Brecon Mountain Railway. Now the next one after that is about the Festiniog Railway, located over in Porthmadog, Gwynedd in Wales. Oh, it's my bucket list to go on this railway, it really is indeed. Porthmadog, 18 miles, 29 kilometres south of Caernarfon. The history of the Festiniog Railway is reassuring evidence that events in the remotest of places can make a significant impact on world history. Testimony to this was given by no less personage than the Russian Tsar, who sent the Festiniog's manager and engineer a gold medallion and silver shield in recognition of the railway's influence. Sorry, I was trying to read where I was, which line, when I got to. May we continue? The interest of Victorian railway engineers and builders in the Festiniog Railway was due to its narrow gauge of 1 foot 1.5, 600 millimetres, and its pioneering use of steam locomotives. But the railway would never have come into being at all had William Maddox, local lawnmower and Member of Parliament for Boston in Lincolnshire, built the great embankment called the Cobb across the estuary of Treth Moor, which was opened in 1811. This delivered water channels and led to the scouring of the natural harbour that became the Slate transshipment dock of Porthmadog, now Porthmadog. A 13.5 20-kilometre railway was built to link Porthmadog with the slate quarries at Blanal Festiniog, and the Festiniog Railway opened in 1836, using gravity for the descent from Blanal and horses to pull the empty wagons back up the hill. The horses recovered their strength with riding downhill in dandy wagons. The growth in demand for slate, spurred by the Industrial Revolution and the growth of towns and cities, necessitated the adoption of steam for haulage. The Festiniog's manager, Charles Spooner, commissioned the London engineers George England and Company to design and build 4 small locomotives, the first for commercial use on such a small gauge. 2 arrived in 1863 and the other 2 the following year. Passengers were first carried officially in 1865. Their custom becoming ever more important to the railway as tourism flourished and slate carrying declined. It was the next great innovation that was to attract the Tsar's emissary, Count Bobrinsky. In 1870, trials were held with a recently delivered double bogie steam locomotive designed by James Fairley. Its articulation permitted a long boiler with central firebox, and Fairley's name was given to the type. Shortly afterwards, the Festiniog Railway became not only the first narrow-gauge railway to try bogie passenger coaches, but one of the first railways in Britain to employ them. Descendants of this railway still take the Festiniog Railway's passengers from Harbour Station on the southeastern edge of Porthmadog. Contains a museum that helps passengers to derive far more from their journey than simply an appreciation of the glorious scenery. Crossing the Cobb as the train leaves Porthmadog, a panorama of mountains including Snowdon can be seen to the northeast on a clear day. On the opposite side, waves lap the massive rocks that strengthen Maddox's work. As the line swings round to 90 degrees at the end of the Cobb, the Festiniog's works and carriage and engine sheds can be seen to the right. Named Boston Lodge after Maddox's constituency. The climb begins here and barely lets up all the way to Blanau. At the first station, Minford, the site of interesting sidings with the main line that runs along the coast, can be seen to the left. Passengers can still conveniently change trains here. Beyond the single platform at Penryn, the line enters the Snowdonia National Park. From here on, the scenery is seldom less than spectacular, the line often twisting along the contours of the hills with long drops to the valley floor. As the line approaches the isolated crossing station at Tannyblach, it was BWLCH, so it's hard to hard to pronounce. I'm sorry, I don't mean any discriminatory. It was just a little tricky to pronounce. A descending train can often be seen nearing the station on the opposite side of the valley. It was here during the 1930s and 1950s that the station mistress, Bessie Jones, attired in Welsh costume, dispensed homemade teas. A number of walks can be taken from Tanny BWLCH station, for which the operators thoughtfully provide a leaflet where to go and what to do from Festiniog railway stations. Dualt station marks the beginning of the deviation forced on the railway by the submersion of the old trackbed by the lower reservoir of the pumped storage scheme near Tanygrissiau. Construction began in 1965 and people from all walks of life, many with no interest in railways, volunteered to help to build the new railway. It was no simple task, entailing construction of the only spiral on a public railway in Britain and New Merlwyn Tunnel. The old trackbed and tunnel mouth can be seen as the train climbs away from the loop and plunges into the 287-yard, 262-metre tunnel. The train emerges to skirt Tanygrissiau Reservoir and squeeze past the backs of houses into Blenau. The hill is a jumble of slate and rock from 2 centuries of extraction. Journey's End is a new interchange station opened with the help of British Rail and the County Council, enabling passengers to reach the Festiniog Railway from the North Wales coast at Llandudno Junction. Train service daily from late March to early November, Weekends in late February to March. Send specials telephone 01766 512 340. Now time to go to the next railway. You're reading the next history. Our area, Gwilly Railway, Dyfed, 3 miles, 5 kilometres north of Carmarthen. At present, the Gwilly Railway is only 1¾ miles, 3 kilometres long, running from Bronwith Arms to Lewithan Cerrig. But what it lacks in length, it makes up for in both scenery and the high standards it has set itself for the future. The plan is to extend the railway further north to Llanpumsaint to give a run of about 8 miles, 13 kilometres, and the Gwilly Railway already owns the track bed. As its name suggests, the line follows the River Gwilly along a gently sloped valley, passing well-wooded hillsides and meadows on its way to Lewithan Cerrig, where there is no road access but a picnic site to prolong your visit. The basis of the railway is the long cross-country line once operated by the Great Western Railway between Aberystwyth and Carmarthen. This glorious line served such delightfully named places as Jerry Ormond, Strata, Florida, and Caradog Falls, Holt, taking 3 hours to cover the 60 miles, 96.5 kilometre, due to the number of stations and the single-track line. In the 1920s, arriving passengers at Aberystwyth could even enjoy the dancent on a sprung dance floor provided by the Great Western in its new station building. A flavour of the old days is reflected in a collection of period photographs in the waiting room. The modern age had no place for such leisurely progress or pursuits. Passenger services ended in 1965, and the last freight was carried on the southern section in 1973. But the Gwilly Railway stepped in to create what has become the first standard gauge preserved railway in Wales. Everything you see has been done by volunteers, track laying, dismantling and re-erecting railway buildings from elsewhere in Wales, as well as the restoration of carriages and locomotives. Help has been received from various sources. Railway enthusiasts from Bryn School, for example, have made a superb job of restoring an 1891 Taff Vale railway coach that served for half a century as a farmer's shed in Herefordshire following its withdrawal from service in 1926. Examine the flower-decorated signal box at Bronwith Arms. The signalman welcomes visitors, which has been so well transposed from its original home at Llandibby on the Central Wales line that you would think it had always been here. Train service. Sundays from May to September, also Wednesdays in June, and daily from late July to August. Telephone Santa Specials 01267 231 817. The end. Well, that was it again. Learning steam railway history with Foxy. This one I think is about part 14, something like that. And obviously part 15 will be about the same number of steam railway coverage, in coverage of about either 2 or possibly 3. As said before in previous episodes, it's generally 2 at the very... It's generally about 2 railways I read at the very least. And at the most I do about 3 or sometimes 4. Just to say, but the next one will probably be about either the same amount as this episode has contained, 2 steam railway coverage readings, or possibly 3. But we shall see, we shall certainly see in the very next episode. Thanks everybody indeed for watching, and I shall certainly see you in the very next episode. Ta-ta, another time. From Foxy.